Welcome back to the Nickel and Dime Football Show. It's your boy Suds, the boy Drew behind the wheels of steel. We are at the divisional round of the playoffs. Some people think it's the best weekend of football. I thought it was going to be last weekend. I really think it's going to be this weekend. Now, we got four great games that are coming at you. High-powered teams, high-powered defenses, offenses. 3 and out, we still got for you. We may even have a thing that is special coming for you this week. Make sure you like and subscribe. Long intro or not, it's Nickel and Dime, baby.
Well, Shawn, I'm sure you are happy. Your team is continuing onward into the playoffs. As a subtle reminder to your side there that you still are the champions until proven otherwise. So that's nice.
Still are the champions. Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. You know, it takes a strong man to watch the playoffs when his team ain't in it,
just a delusional football fan.
This is true. I
just love football, man. So that's good. Like, it's kind of almost like the pressure's off. Like, I just get to watch football.
Yeah, there is like once you get over the sadness of like not knowing that your team is in it, yes. It's a freeing feeling. You're right. It's a freeing feeling.
The good thing is my team is pissing me off so bad right now that the sadness didn't last long. I'm just angry.
Yeah.
I'm angry that I haven't reported that my team has fired their coach. Still can't report that. Still can't say that.
Holding on, moving on up. That's what that man is doing. They said
my man can't even take his kid to the Hornets game because they get booed everywhere they go. How do you hear that as an owner and go, yeah, that's a good call?
That's that's very true. I mean, and that's the thing is like Carolina fans typically, as far as fan bases, don't go that hard. Yeah, I mean they're with it, but
this man has pissed us off.
Yeah, but let's talk about some teams that are in it. Yeah, we're still the chance, man. But your boy is nervous though. Your boy is nervous.
We got let's switch things up this week because we might check in with some official Nickel and Dime team correspondents here in a little bit. So I want to make sure we can talk their games with their teams. So let's do some housekeeping notes up top.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
All right. You're talking about some teams still in it and being nervous. The Bengals, that defensive line is looking a little hurt, a little suspect all of a sudden.
Yeah, man.
Hendrickson is in concussion protocol. Ogunjobi. Did I butcher that?
Larry Ogunjobi, yeah.
Ogunjobi. That's right. I practiced that so much, and I still knew I was going to butcher it. He got put on IR. He's foot, so he's done for the playoffs. Like,
yeah, those are, and Drew, those are two very good, sneaky good players. Trey Hendrickson living up, free agent steal, honestly.
Could be defensive player of the year with the numbers he's put up this year. Yeah, there's better choices, but he could be
in the conversation. He's in the conversation. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly. Raiders fire their GM Mayock after 3 seasons. Head coach is still in place right now, but I'm sure they're waiting to see who they get in to get their guy in there.
Right. I mean, there's still a lot of chips that got to fall, Drew. So like maybe don't be too hasty, because if you fire the coach, then you just out here looking. You know what I mean? Like you just so
no, at least keep what you got right now.
Right. They lose leverage.
Yes. Budda Baker, that scary collision he had last night, carted off the field versus the Rams, but he's doing good. He tweeted out today that he's doing good. He actually got released from the hospital and on a private plane back to Arizona. Before
we're a pro Budda Baker podcast show. Yes, we love some Budda, man. Get well.
49ers Jimmy G has a slightly sprained shoulder. Slightly.
Are they greasing the wheels for some Jimmy picks coming this Saturday and Sunday? Is that what's happening?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Jimmy G going Jimmy G.
And he almost went full Jimmy G, let Dallas back in the game. I'm sure we'll talk about it here a little bit. But damn, I mean, he was playing good, and he has been playing good.
Was that slightly sprained shoulder, sir? That
Oh,
let the
yeah.
Cowboys back in the game. Okay, not Jimmy G. The shoulder.
It was a shoulder.
Your boy Tristan Wirfs, I'm sure he scared you a little bit with that right ankle sprain. He is
Yes.
going to be a game time decision. Like they don't know. Like they're going to tape this man up,
Yeah.
get him some shoddy shots,
Get him some shots.
and hope for the best.
Put on that Lil Jon track, baby. You know what I'm saying? give him all the shots. Listen, Drew, did you see I'm sure you were watching the game. Did you see like one? I didn't even know that he got hurt until he did. And then like when he was limping, let's put it into context.
That's a tough man.
Put it into context, Drew. He has not missed a snap in his career. In 2 years, he hasn't missed a snap. So then, not only that, but this is a guy who has not given up. I think he's given up 2 sacks in his whole career. So he missed two plays, gave up 2 sacks. Immediately after he gets hurt, gets done by Ryan Kerrigan. You know what I'm saying? And you knew he was off if that happened to him. So
that play that he came back in was just sad. You know,
it was sad.
It was rough
sad
to look at. And then Jensen got hurt too, but he went to the locker room and sacrificed a lamb or something and came right back out. Like, that dude is unworldly, man. I don't
love me some Ryan Jensen, man.
He stole someone's soul in the parking lot and came right back.
Oh man, yeah, do that man like that. Red Rocket, baby.
I forgot he was a ginger. I didn't even mean that. My bad. Okay. All right. Bills defensive end Mario Addison left the Pats game early with a shoulder, so we'll keep an eye on him. One of their better pass rushers.
Yeah, he's got all off. Oh, you said, Bills. I thought you said my fault. I forgot Addison was on the Bills, like as a situational. That's
Carolina North. I miss him. Seahawks fired defensive coordinator Ken Norton. So some pieces dropping in Seattle.
Ken Norton.
Is that the move, though? Is that the first move? The defensive coordinator? That's your problem? That's what you're working with?
I mean, the defense kept them in a lot of games sometimes. I mean, that was the reason that they won the game against the Cardinals. You know what I'm saying? Like, so do I think it was? Yes, actually, because like Seattle needs to do something different defensively. That cover 3 scheme, and maybe that is a Pete Carroll type of scheme. You know what I'm saying? But like they're so predictable in what they run, and it was great for a number of years. But like people have figured it out. And the players are getting a little bit older. They're getting new pieces in there. So it's not the Legion of Boom, and it hasn't been for quite some time.
That's fair. Yeah. But out of all the things going on right now,
it's like
I didn't really know defensive coordinator needed to change like now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this is what you're saying is this is a house on fire situation, and the defensive coordinator is just a bucket of water. Is that what you? Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Rams offensive tackle, 56-year-old Whitworth, exited early with an ankle, so we'll keep an eye on him, see if he makes it back.
Yeah, we got OL problems. They got OL problems. I ain't trying to hear it. Y'all ain't gonna be trying to hear that neither. Y'all are not gonna be trying to hear that. So hopefully, but I want him to be healthy. Andrew Whitworth, great guy. You know what I'm saying? Like sticking it out just like Tom Brady is. But everybody's got to get healthy, man. I do want the teams at full strength, but I don't really want their team at full strength. I ain't gonna bullshit you.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
So get healthy though. Get healthy.
All right. 49ers, Nick Bosa in concussion protocol as well. So we'll look to see if he can come back for that Green Bay game.
We just talked about this the other day. Weirdly enough, as soon as we saw that he got injured, as soon as he went out in the game, I was like, me and Drew just talked about this shit on the show the other day. Like, and they need him, Drew. Yeah. Like, they're going to need him to put pressure on Aaron Rodgers. Look, we ain't going to give it away. We're going to talk about all of these games right for you. So many questions, man. Like and subscribe, baby. Let's go.
All right. Let's get into our wild card weekend, super wild card weekend recap. And this is perfect timing because we got our nickel and dime resident Bengals fan and correspondent with us. So everyone, Mr. Randy Slack. Randy, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, let's go.
Man, I don't know how to feel. I've never been to this league before. So
First playoff win since 1991.
Yes, January 6th, 91 was the last
we had the
one.
date ready to
Yeah,
go.
the date.
Look at that.
They beat the Houston Oilers and then lost to Bo Jackson. Ended his career in the Raiders.
Yeah.
And the curse of Bo is over. So Bo Jackson, if you're listening, thank you very much for lifting the curse. Sorry that we ended your career, bud. But man, it feels it's weird. Like, it was weird to watch and to see that we had more points than the other team at the end of the game. Like, that's
They tried to make it interesting there at the end, didn't they?
Oh my God. The whole first half, it's like we keep kicking field goals, keep getting field goals. And it's like, man, some of these are going to really come back to bite us. And sure enough, that drive right at the end of the half really is what really turned that game around for the Raiders. Like, getting not only getting points, but getting a touchdown. It was just like, I've seen this one before. This sucks.
I know how this
doubt
plays
starts
out.
to creep in. That doubt starts to creep in. Yeah. That's the thing about playoff games is it seems like as soon as they start, there's no time left. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like every moment is like of the utmost importance. And not only that, but also quick Bo Jackson shout out. Love that on the show. But also you remember the date, Randy, and like January 6th, not really a date you want to be associated with right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was right.
Heartbreak all around for Randy.
Right.
Yeah, man.
We got past it though.
As a Bengals fan, you know, like that date and like everything around it, the longer it went, the more like people would talk about it. They would talk about like what was going on. And a buddy of mine, Mo Egger, who does sports talk radio in Cincinnati, he was like, finally, I don't have to remember what gas prices were in 1991 because I don't have to ever talk about that again.
That's fair.
Yeah, all those little anecdotal stuff. You know, it was when Palmer in 2005, it was like, this is different. This is a different team. And then Dalton in 2011, it was like, these are different guys.
Some squads, man.
Yeah,
and
they did.
I'll tell you what, he's not going to get a lot of credit, and it's kind of weird to thank him, but Marvin Lewis should get some credit for turning the team around, you know, nearly 20 years ago at this point. Like the 90s, after that playoff win and then starting that streak, that rest of that decade was just from 91 to 01 was just terrible. Marvin turned them around and made them more of a legitimate team. And then, you know, getting Joe Burrow and really to give the credit to the front office for actually signing free agents, something that they never do in the past. Yeah. I think that really, you know, adding those guys that they did in the offseason is really what kind of has propelled this team forward over the last 2 years.
Yeah, we just talked about it. Like the Trey Hendrickson signing might have been that might have been the steal of the free agency period right there for what they got him for. Stealing him away from the Saints, you know what I mean? Like after being productive, him and Hassan Reddick, honestly, because both of those guys are, you know, 10+ sack guys.
They stay
for pretty good for pretty good contracts. So hate that he's injured though. But listen, the Raiders did it. I feel like they game plan to stop Jamar Chase, and make somebody else beat them. But that's the thing is like, you know, go back a couple of weeks ago, folks, and when I talked about the Bengals, they are a team who has every facet of football covered. Good running game, quarterback, receivers, defense. That's all you need to make a deep playoff run, and they're putting it together at the right time. So I love it.
Speaking of a deep playoff run, man, how are you on just bonus time? Like you got the win out of the way, or you just are your expectations to where you like, I want to win the Super Bowl now?
Well, I mean, you know, Burrow talked about it after the game. He said, "This isn't the icing on the cake. This is the cake. You know, this is the standards to win a playoff game." And honestly, you know, I think Vrabel's done a hell of a job in Tennessee, but they're the most beatable team that if I was as a Bengals fan, I would much rather play Tennessee, even though they're the 1 seed, than playing Kansas City or Buffalo this week.
Are you kidding me?
Like,
let them beat each other up. You know what I
mean? I'm a big proponent of point differential, and I like to look at that as an outlier of if a team's, you know, how good they really are or not. And Tennessee's wasn't great. Tennessee, they're like, I think +80. which for a number one seed's not very good. Green Bay also shaky as hell yet again. And a team that I'm not really looking forward to. If I was a Packer fan, I'd be real nervous up there.
Playing their playoff nemesis, Randy. Speak on it, man. Yeah, nemesis. I mean, San Francisco has had their number for quite some time. I'm very curious. Stay tuned for 3 and Out, because we got a question coming for you, maybe on that same topic.
Randy, thank you so much for joining us, man. Real quick, Super Bowl prediction. Who you got?
I think I'm going to go Buffalo and Tampa Bay. Okay. Buffalo's playing really good. As much as the Josh Allen talk is, the defense is playing really, really well. If they can get the win in Kansas City, which isn't an easy task, I think if they could play Cincinnati in the AFC Championship game or Tennessee, I like both of their chances there. In the NFC, I don't like the Rams too much. I'm not really sold on them. San Francisco's and Green Bay to me is just shaky. They're Aaron Rodgers, who's incredible, and not a lot after that. So I just feel like Tampa's going to be that team. It's going to be Tampa and Buffalo. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much,
Randy. Confidence, Randy. Thanks, bro.
Where can they find you on the Instagram?
Hit me up, rslack37, Twitter and the Gram, and then Slack on Sports ESPN Wilmington from 11 to 12 Monday through Friday.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Randy.
Let's go Bengals. Rule the jungle, baby.
Hooday.
All right, next up, we got our resident 49ers fan and correspondent here with us, Miles Johnson. Miles, how you doing, buddy? How you feeling about beating them boys?
Yeah, man, that was pretty big. It was the most exciting game, I think, coming into this week, because when I grew up, when I was 8 years old, I started pulling for the 49ers in 1994, but it was during the season before they even won the Super Bowl. Just remember sitting on the ground with my dad and him chanting Ricky Waters' name. And I kind of started chiming in. And the next thing you know, I started watching a couple of the games with them. And then when we played Dallas, it was like, I didn't even realize at the time, being 8 years old, it was my first year watching football, like the rivalry and everything.
Yeah.
But my mom and dad were kind of explaining to me, because 2 years prior, we lost to them in the NFC Championship twice in a row. Mm-hmm. And my mom was explaining to me, and I'm starting to become like a Jerry Rice fan. When I was a kid, I was a white Jerry Rice. I throw the ball to myself in the air and catch it and all that, just pretend I was Jerry Rice. But anyways, when we watched that game, and when Eric Davis had that pick six on like the second or third play of the game, like when he was running it back, like I had goosebumps, and that was the play that made me just like, okay, I'm all in. I'm not just watching it. Like I've just become a fan. So, and then the next year we went down to their house in 1995 without Steve Young, and Elvis Gerbach was the quarterback, and we were supposed to lose that game by a lot. Like I can't remember the point spread on it, but we ended up beating like the hell out of them, like 38-20. That was their Super Bowl year the following year as well. So
yeah, it was actually,
yeah, we beat them pretty bad in their house, and then we ironically we lost to Green Bay in the playoffs, and that was our first of 3 straight playoff losses against Green Bay. So
it's blood this Sunday, huh?
Yeah.
So it's like back to back like rivalries of like with my childhood.
It's old school NFC matchups, man, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, man.
It is.
So like prior to this game, I was like on my way to work, and I would just have like clips of the games like playing in the background and just listening to it. And I was getting hyped up. At one point, I was just like, I was so hyped up, I about had tears going, man. I was like, ready.
How did you feel about getting the win like this Sunday, especially with the controversy at the end of the game, man? Like how did that make you feel?
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
Speak on it.
So like going into the game, I was pretty confident. My biggest thing was stopping Dak Prescott. If we could stop Dak, we'd have a good chance to win the game. I knew our front fours would get their offensive line problems. We just had to run the ball, and I felt like we had a good chance of doing that against their defense. I thought Micah Parsons was going to be pretty tough. He's all over the field, man. He's a great ball player. But yeah, so that draw call at the end of the game was very wild. I swear.
I remember just watching it like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
I was just like, to the point, I was just like, oh my God, he's running. And then when I saw there was like less than 10 seconds left, I kind of had a weird feeling of relaxation. I was like, I don't think they're going to get the ball off.
Yeah.
If they were going to do that, he probably should have slid like 5 yards earlier. And what really killed
That's
him.
what they were saying. That's what they were saying.
And don't hand it to your center.
Yeah.
Dude, the center you can't, like, your own team can't spot the ball.
No.
You know?
Nah.
No, right?
I mean,
There's
I
think it's here.
Well,
if
and
that
that's
was the case, man, if I was a center, I'd just be inching up every game. It's a game of inches.
That's what Chris Sims made. Like, I was listening to the podcast earlier, to his podcast, shout to the Unbuttoned podcast with Chris Sims. He said that Dallas actually gave themselves like 3 yards, bro. Like, he gave themselves like 3 extra yards because of that. And like, I mean, at that point in the frenzy of the game, nobody's really looking at it, but I'm sure when they go back, they'll definitely look at that, man. Listen, I mean, you talked about Green Bay a little bit earlier, but we're going to talk about it in our 3 and out. How you feeling, man? Like, how you feeling about going up to Lambeau, being the team that has really given Green Bay a lot of problems these past couple of years, and right now, honestly, I don't think the 49ers are a team anybody wants to face right now.
Yeah, we went up there in 2013 and played them when Colin Kaepernick was the quarterback, and we pretty much handled them down there pretty well. And I really, at the time, I was pretty worried for that game. Anytime you're facing Aaron Rodgers, man, that guy, he's amazing. He's an amazing quarterback. I'm not going to lie. When I heard there was trade rumors, as bad as I wanted to draft Trey Lance, that draft day, when I heard Aaron Rodgers was possibly available, I told my friends, I was like, dude, I'll give a first right now. You know, I don't care if he played 3 years for us. If he can get you 3 Super Bowls that year. But well,
with that team y'all have and him, come on.
Yeah. So anyways,
coaching.
Their run defense is pretty poorish. They have a bad red zone defense. I feel to beat them, we got to attack them with the run game. Win time of possession, keep Aaron Rodgers off the field, and we got to get to Aaron Rodgers. You know, he's gonna make some crazy throws, man. And I'll tell you what, we're 0-1 in the playoffs. We're 0-1, man. We beat them 3 years in a row, and it's kind of like how I don't even want to really play the Rams. I'd rather play Tampa Bay, even though Tampa Bay is a better team. I don't want to play the Rams 3 times in a row.
Nobody wants to play it.
No one wants to play
any team 3 times.
I'm definitely nervous. I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous.
Miles,
I'm pretty confident in y'all.
Yeah, dude. Miles, thank you so much for joining us, man. All right, real quick before you get out of here, Super Bowl pick. Who you got?
You know what, man?
Go ahead and do it.
It's kind of like to bring back the Chris Berman, man. 49ers and Bills. I love to see it. I love to bring out I got a buddy. He's a diehard Bills fan, and I've been watching games with him since 2006.
Right.
So I've seen all the frustration that he's had to put up with, and lately it's been pretty good to see him succeed. So
that'd be a great game to watch, man.
It would be a good game to watch. Yeah.
Miles, thank you so much, man. Where can they find you on Instagram?
Oh, MGZ154 with 5 E's.
Yeah.
MGZ.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man.
All right.
Well, to keep going with these wild card recaps, we have one of my favorite guests, Chris Mara, joining us. Chris, how you doing, buddy?
Ooh, shout.
Me and Chris are gonna debate who is it worse being a Panthers fan or being a Giants fan right now?
Yeah. Everyone's talking about the Panthers and Giants right now. So
we're going to make it about us. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you at least got rid of your boneheaded coach, you know?
Yeah. I'm glad we got rid of
Oh my God. Yeah.
Philly trash. Yeah. I mean, it's sad when you're actually keeping up with who they're interviewing for the GM role. But that's what I'm doing. So
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hey, good GM to turn the team around, man. Good GM to turn the team around quick.
Yeah, in 2 years. I mean, that's a good one. So
I heard Hurney's coming out of retirement to or leaving Washington to come to New York.
Who?
Our old guy, Hurney.
Marty Hurney.
No.
Yeah. Who would you like to see? Who would you like to see the Giants get as your?
Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for GM Joe Shane, and then he brings Brian Daboll over from the Bills.
Okay. Ooh, okay.
I think
all right.
That makes the most sense.
Yeah, my man. Wouldn't you have to change colors?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You would have to change states. Funny enough, but I mean, if Daboll can turn, I mean, Josh Allen was really raw coming out of college. Joe Shane turned that thing around in a few years. They've been building it the right way, drafting well. So, I mean, I'm tired of these internal guys with the Giants, that people that been there.
That's fair.
Yeah, fair, very fair.
I'm tired of college coaches.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I used to be proud to have the same last name as the Mara family that owned the Giants, but now I'm like slowly pushing away.
Like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of possible your future, the Bills just decimated the Patriots. Allen 5 touchdowns on 308 yards, passing 66 more rushing yards, but he didn't lead the team in rushing. Sean, look at that.
They might have something going now with this newfound running game. Singletary
showed up. He finally found out there was a season, and he's like, "Oh yeah."
He's late to the party.
Yeah.
Well then, Sean, you got Chris here, and he's secretly a Bucks fan. So if you two want to talk about the Bucks and Eagles, real quick.
I mean, it's more like, I'm glad that it looked as easy as people probably thought it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad it looked that way. Defense finally came to play the last couple of weeks.
Which you got people back, so that was nice to see.
Yeah, but it sucks that it took them this long. They've been sleeping through the season, and this game, I think, showed that a little bit, even without the weapons. But your boy is nervous as hell about this next game.
Well, you got to be happy about the Vaughn and Gio combo, though. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, Keyshawn Vaughn showed a little bit of burst. Gio back, I think, is sneaky good, because I think they expected to get him back, but they're finally able to unveil
second in the team in receiving
plan for him. And I think maybe next game, talking about before we get into a little preview here, but I think Gio and Le'Veon Bell will have a bigger role, especially if Lenny can't play. But
I forgot you got that too. Man.
Yeah.
That's great.
Man. I'm excited, but a little nervous, man. A little nervous.
Chris, were you happy that the Eagles fell flat on their face in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I hate the Eagles more than anything, but I also hate Tom Brady, so it was tough to like root for them. But I mean, I don't know. Is Wirfs going to be coming back? Because that's a big loss.
That's a very big loss. It's like he's going to be a game time decision, man. And the offensive line, if the offensive line cannot put pieces on the field like that, I'm very worried. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think the running backs might be key in the game, because like he's not going to have time to throw. You know what I'm saying? So like, running backs out of the backfield are going to be paramount, having guys that can catch. And that's why regardless of whether or not Ronald Jones comes back, I don't think you see a lot of him in this game. You know what I mean? Because he can't catch. So yeah. Would you?
I because I'm a big Stafford hater, and he didn't really have an opportunity last night to mess that up.
He didn't.
17 times. They let him throw 17 times.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, he's due to have. He's kind of. I was texting Drew yesterday or today saying like he's Jimmy Garoppolo with better talent.
a little more talent.
Yeah. He has a great arm, but like he just so many mistakes. I mean, I could totally see him throwing a pick six or whatnot.
I hope so. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the defense looking like
he is known to do that.
He's going. Their defense is going to put more pressure on him than the Cardinals obviously did. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that might be a big key to the game, bro. Mara, what did you think about the Cowboys? You know what I'm saying? Talking about the NFC East, like, what did you think about that whole situation right there?
I mean, it was like the one time that I agreed with Jerry Jones when after the game he was like, we have too much talent. Like, we're underachieving. I do think McCarthy's holding him back. Like, I don't think he's a bad coach. I just think that when you have that much talent, you need like an innovative mind to like, like I understand the thought process with the quarterback draw, but like there's so many variables with that. Like
way too many.
I didn't like, I knew the rule that the ref had to touch the ball, but you don't realize it until you see it and you're like, oh, the ref didn't touch the ball. Like,
and he tried to get in there.
He tried. He
like,
did.
So many things like you can't, especially when you have all that talent. Like, if you're relying on like essentially a QB draw in that situation is like a trick play. Like, are you really relying on that in that situation to get like, it just didn't make sense to me. So
when you have those receivers, like, come on, man.
It's classic Cowboys though. It's like, no matter what, they always just find a way to lose, and it's hilarious.
Well, we were talking about the bigger disappointment with the Panthers and the Giants. Are you more disappointed if you're a Cowboys fan or a Cardinals fan?
I think, man, that's tough because
Cardinals start off 10-1.
Yeah, right. I think it was kind of like at least me, like at least all the outlets that I watch and listen to, like didn't really believe in the Cardinals necessarily. Like they were kind of like, all right.
Does that hurt even more? Like we expected this.
I still think I'd be disappointed as the Cowboys because I think especially this year there's been so much crazy stuff happening where like there's no dominant. Even the Packers, you're like you think you can have a
little
chance.
Shaky.
So I think the Cardinals are just happy to be there, man. Like that, and I don't think Cliff Kingsbury's the guy, but
that's fair.
There was some stuff coming out today that was saying that maybe he's on shaky ground considering the way that he finished the season.
Well, the past few years they've started off well, and then he was supposed to be this like young college-esque like spread
innovator, like you were talking about.
Yeah, and he's not. He couldn't win with Pat Mahomes, and I know there's other factors that go along, but like at Texas Tech, he won like 6 games. Like I don't know. Like I think
maybe history suggests that he might not be that dude. Like I didn't even think about that. Good point. Great point, actually.
I still think they overachieved. Like I thought they would have won like 9 games max, but I don't know. I could see them not making the playoffs next year just because
that division. With the NFC getting better,
Yeah. So who knows?
And obviously, especially like I think that may be the case because like the way they finished the season. You know what I'm saying? The tape's out on them, obviously. So like now coming in the next season, they're gonna have to switch it up. There might be some fire where there's that smoke coming for Kingsbury now that we're talking it through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That offensive line's a problem, and that defense is not.
The defense did not show up. They did not.
The defense overachieved most of the year. Like they don't have a lot of talent, like big names. So they got some work to do this offseason.
They do. They do.
Well, real quick, before we get out of here, Chris, thank you so much for joining us.
Hell yeah.
What's your Super Bowl prediction?
I would say Packers. I'll say Packers Bills. It's kind of basic, but I still think the Chiefs offense hasn't been like it still feels like there's something missing. And I know they played well against the Steelers, but I think that should have been a blowout.
Big Ben's farewell game.
Yeah.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, he's trash. But but yeah, I think the Chiefs just seem a little off still, and I think they're too reliant on Spagnuolo. Like I don't know. Like I still see him getting beat a lot. And if Allen plays the way he did the other night, he was insane the other night. So
yeah.
I think that with the Bucs injuries, Stafford being a roller coaster, I just think it comes down to who's the best quarterback. The Packers are still getting healthy, even though they dominated all year.
Yeah, they are getting some pieces back. So
especially on defense.
Yeah, so I think it'll be Packers Bills. That'll be a hell of a matchup because Rodgers versus Allen. I mean, my gosh.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. It'd be a game. Two cold weather teams in a hot area, of course.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Chris, thank you so much, man. Where can they find you on the Instagrams?
Yeah, it's just that Marathon, MARRATHON.
Follow them. Let's go.
Mock draft season, baby.
Yeah, we'll be bringing you back to talk because Giants Panthers, like you said the other day, back-to-back picks. So we'll be talking about it.
Top 10 picks, baby.
Appreciate you, Chris.
All right, man.
Thanks, man.
All right, it was great hearing from some of the fans and our
residents.
Friends,
yes, sir. Thank you. Friends of the show.
Friends of the show. Well, let's get into my favorite 3 and out, sir.
Let's do it. Love this segment.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna take first down real quick. You good with that?
Yeah.
All right, everyone. We touched on it a little bit with Marinara, but everyone's talking about the Cowboys collapse. What are the Cardinals missing? Is it what we alluded to? The coaching's a problem. Is Kyler not the answer? Was it the injuries were just too much to overcome? Because you still didn't have D-Hop out there last night.
Yeah.
What do the Cardinals need in order to be that elite NFC team?
Drew, I really don't think it's one answer.
Okay.
But I definitely do think I don't think Kyler's the problem, but I do think they need to Kyler can't have things go wrong on him. He needs his players. He needs
34.
Yeah,
137 yards, 2 picks.
And I'm definitely not quick to jump the gun on Kyler, but we have to admit Kyler looked shook yesterday.
Yeah.
He looked shook. You know what I'm saying?
With good reason, he was getting popped.
Well, but it was something off from the jump. But I think they definitely need more on the defensive side, at least from what I can see at this point. Relying on an older JJ Watt who couldn't give you what JJ Watt is supposed to give you in his prime. Maybe they got to reach in the draft, and Steve Comm has been good in the draft. You know what I'm saying? So I really like what they might be able to do there, but they need something. I can't put my finger on it quite yet.
Maybe one thing's not the answer. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What you got on second down, sir?
Second down, Drew. This is one of the marquee matchups. They're all marquee matchups, really. But I want to specifically talk about the Green Bay San Francisco game, man. The San Francisco treat. And will it be a treat for San Francisco, Drew? I want to know, in your opinion, especially this time of the year, considering what San Francisco does well, is home field advantage for the Packers even going to matter?
Ooh, I think if it's super cold, it does. You know what I mean? Because they rely on that run game, and you can be a tough as nails NFL player all day. You get hit in cold weather, it hurts more.
True.
Those hammies don't warm up the right way. Those ankles don't turn the right way. As great as the 49ers run game has been the last few years, they've always had to have that next man up mentality because they do get bit quite often by the injury bug.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
That's the only thing I can see coming into play is the actual elements.
Yeah, I don't know what the weather's going to be like for this game, but
you got to think it's going to be cold at least.
It's going to be cold as hell. It's going to be cold as hell. Cold as hell. Bring out them heavy rain jackets that can fit a book bag in a person. Right?
Can I wear this on the field?
Yeah. Oh man! All right, what you got on third down, Drew?
All right, third down. Tell me a coach domino falling into place. It can be a firing, it can be a hiring. But tell me a coach domino you feel good about.
Ooh,
something that you think's gonna happen.
Something that
maybe a coach that hadn't gotten fired yet that's gonna get fired. Maybe you think Flores is gonna head to Chicago. What do you think? What place you think is gonna fall into place?
I think that. You know what I like? You just mentioned Flores. I like Flores in New York.
Oh. Okay.
I like Flores. I like Flores in New York. I think
or without Daniel Jones.
Without. If he wanted Deshaun Watson in Miami, if he wanted, if he wanted Justin Herbert in Miami.
What if he gets Russell Wilson in New York?
Russell Wilson, and that might be perfect because talking about dominoes, Russell Wilson, he wants to be in a bigger market. Like, and I hate to say off the field stuff is kind of influencing that with Sierra and the limelight that he's in.
We saw the names that he mentioned.
Right. And he mentioned New York. I think he did. I believe he did. So if he gets, especially with some pieces in there, he's got a running back. Defense has been better than expected.
You got to think the wide receivers are healthier. They gotta be,
and maybe
there's only one way to go.
Freaking Galladay wants to play for Russell Wilson and not Daniel Jones. I mean, where's the motivation there? But so yeah, I think that'll happen. I think Raheem Morris is probably going to get another look. I hate to say, I think Todd Bowles. I think he might be going bye-bye with as many opportunities as he's been getting.
They said he's got like 2 interviews before the playoff game this weekend.
Yeah. So, if Flores don't get a job, hey, come on down, baby. Come on down.
No.
Come on down.
No.
All right, Drew. Fourth down. With the slate of beautiful marquee matchups we have this week for the divisional round. Hopefully we win. Bucks, go Bucks. Drew, which team should be the most nervous about their opponent and why?
I mean, you got to think just from the way they've been playing, everyone's eyes are going to be on Chiefs Bills. You know what I mean? Right. So I think it's the double answer. I think they're both nervous about each other.
Okay.
Because that game is going to be, if we had a marquee matchup this weekend, it would be that game. You know,
I think it would. And
I mean, don't get me wrong, they're all great. None of them are going to be
all great games. All great games. And we might as well just kind of get into our like previews right now since we're talking about it. But Drew, I think this will be one of the marquee matchups. I'm not sure what time they're playing, but I think that like it just smells of this game smells of desperation. You know what I mean? Like, I know that the Buffalo Bills are desperate to get a win. I know the Chiefs are desperate to prove that they can get back to a Super Bowl.
The stumbles were nothing.
Right. Like, so that being said, I don't know what we're going to see. Like, but I do have a feeling.
So glad you're taking the AFC this week.
I do. I have a feeling that Buffalo is a little bit more desperate than the Chiefs are going to be. Like the Chiefs,
but that could be bad. That can be used against them.
That's very true. They could do some uncharacteristic things. But when I say desperate, I mean Josh Allen every play. If there's no bailout, if there's no receiver open, he's taking off. He doesn't care. At this point.
Get you. I understand.
He doesn't care. So that's an element that you can't plan for. Mahomes, and I think honestly, if Mahomes, weirdly enough, this always happens. Quick aside, but whenever one quarterback starts running, the other quarterback starts running. It's like, well, I can do that too. You ever notice that? You know what I'm saying? So I think, especially if his foot's right, whatever was going on, Patrick Mahomes, blah blah blah. I think he may start running too. This is a desperate game, so all bets are off.
And it's perfect timing. We got our resident Titans fan here, Jamal Garner. Jamal, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, how y'all doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
How'd you feel just getting to sit back and wait and just kind of relax this past weekend?
I mean, even though I was like chilling back, it was like it felt like I was kind of like a GM or like a head coach because I'm looking at like, okay, all right, are the Steelers gonna win or the Patriots? You know, like who's gonna be the lowest seed? So who am I preparing for? And then like I'm looking at the Bengals and I'm like, ooh, they scary.
That offense, man. That offense is it's funny. It's got their passing attack versus hopefully you guys getting King Henry back in y'all's run game.
Yeah.
Right.
So we get the ultimate challenge. You know what I mean? It's the ultimate crazy run game, crazy passing game. Let's duel it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I wonder, Drew. Like I wonder, and Jamal's actually speak on this, man, because like the defense has been playing better, way better as of late, to elevate them to this position. And I think that's what it's going to come down to. Drew alluded to it earlier that the Bengals defense got some nicks on that defensive line. How are you feeling about your defense coming into this game, my guy?
I feel good about the defense. I feel good about the defense because if the Raiders held the Bengals 26 points, I'm feeling kind of confident. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like we got to face against Joe Burrow, Mixon, Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Is it Uzoma? I don't know the tight end.
He's been getting off lately. He's been getting off. Man,
beast. Like he's a sleeper that they always talk about the wide receivers and everything. But I feel with Mike Vrabel, because we face high potent offenses like Buffalo and Kansas City and like things like that, we're ready for 3 wide receiver sets. I think the key will be Uzoma and Joe Mixon. I feel like if we can contain them two, contain the middle of the field, I like our chances. We got our Pro Bowl safety, Mr. Kevin, Mr. 31.
Fired.
Oh, man. Yes, sir.
Shout out Middle Tennessee State, man. God damn, I wish we'd picked his ass.
Blue Raiders, let's go.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So I feel good.
Good. What do you like? What do you want to see from Tennessee in order to get the win?
The win, I need Tennessee to ugly the game.
Okay.
Like ugly. Yeah. Literally both offensive line and defensive line.
What a Tennessee Titans phrase. What a Tennessee Titans phrase, because that's the way they win games, man.
Tighten up, smash mouth football, baby. That's what we is. Like I think our offensive line and defensive line is superior. I think like they might have some things on the skill positions. And be honest with you, I don't even need Derrick Henry to be Derrick Henry because Foreman's
a beast, dude.
He ain't no slouch.
He's got to stay in the rotation. He's got to.
Yep. And I haven't heard anything about anybody talk about the Cincinnati Bengals defense.
That's fair.
Because I think Ryan Tannehill will do just enough. Foreman will do just enough. I don't need Julio to be Atlanta Falcons Julio yet.
Yeah.
Just give me about
AJ Brown won't have to bring it though. AJ Brown got to bring it.
Right. I just need from my wide receivers, I at least need all I'm asking for is like 6 first downs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep the chains moving. That's really what I'm asking for. But yeah, I also need the fans to be riled up too, because Cincinnati ain't that far from Tennessee, and I know people will sell tickets to get that extra
time to travel. Yeah.
I will say, and people love coming. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Drew, but people love coming to warm weather states. And I would like just another note on the Tennessee Titans, man. But out of the coaches who are still in this thing, sneakily probably the best, most underrated coach, Mike Vrabel. I mean, this is the guy who has won ugly multiple times this season when he didn't have the pieces, still putting that team together, getting wins, stay in the course.
The number 1 seed in the toughest division.
That's what I'm saying. So like you cannot put it past, man. 2 of the most dangerous coaches, Kyle Shanahan, Mike Vrabel, still left in the playoffs. Yeah.
Right. And the most beautiful thing about this is that everybody's counting Tennessee out because they're not sexy. They're not sexy.
They're not the fun pick.
Like I recently saw just on the Las Vegas betting odds, they're 6th and
number 1 seed in the AFC.
Number 1 seed and 6th. But I just got to remind people who was the last team to beat Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Very true. Very true. Very true.
Tennessee. Tennessee. And Foxborough. Foxborough. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Well, Jamal, thank you so much for joining us, man. Real quick before you get out of here, Super Bowl prediction. Who you got?
It's hard to go against Tom. It's so hard. I mean, I'm gonna say Titans just because I'm a homer.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to
until proven otherwise.
Right.
You know what? I'm gonna go against Tom, even though I don't want to go against Tom because. But I'm gonna say Green Bay, Tennessee.
Ooh, okay, that's a new one. We've heard a new combination.
I think Aaron Rodgers got something to prove, and then I think he got something to prove.
Nice. Right. Well, where can they find you on Instagram, man?
At Jamal the Cashier, JAMAAL the Cashier. yeah, you can find me on there on Instagram. So yeah.
Perfect.
Man,
Funny
love
dude,
y'all
man.
stuff,
Follow
man.
him.
Love
Appreciate
y'all
you.
stuff.
Thank you,
Thank
man.
you,
We'll
thank you,
definitely
bro.
be seeing more of you.
All right,
yeah.
most there. All
All right,
right,
man.
peace out.
All right, Sean, we touched on Bills and Chiefs, kind of before and then we got Bengals Titans out of the way. So,
Right.
how you feel about this Niners going to Lambeau with that run game?
Yeah. This is the game that I am most, well, aside from my game, this is the game that I am most interested in. And it just, bro, like again, not knowing what to expect. I know where the strengths lie. You know what I mean? Like, I know where the strengths lie. I know Aaron Rodgers is going to pass the ball. I know they're going to try to run. What you get from them is just a compliment to what they're going to be able to do. They're getting some defensive pieces back. I know San Francisco is going to run the damn ball. I know, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there are a bunch of knowns. I just don't know which one is going to come out on top, man. How you feeling about it?
I had trouble. I mean, I had trouble with all the locks. You know what I mean? Because these are you when you get to this point in the playoffs and this point in the season, you know there's about 23 different things that can go during this game. You know what I mean? Like, we've all watched those Super Bowls where a team just straight up gets smacked in the face, and you're like, what? I didn't see that coming at all.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So it's like the storylines are all there. It's just which one is going to be.
Which one's going to play out? You know, this is why we play the games. You know what I mean? Because on paper, 49ers don't stand a chance. But we've seen the 49ers do all the intangibles throughout the year. They're winning with Jimmy G. Guaranteed to turn the ball over at least once or twice a game.
Jimmy
guaranteed to turn the ball over. You know what I mean? And they're still winning games.
Damn, we just coined a new nickname for that, man.
So, I mean, you can't count them out. But also, I think Aaron Rodgers is playing on a whole nother level this year. Like, my man is just
an MVP level.
It's like he's determined to be the supervillain, and he's doing it, and he's just like, I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah. Until somebody ends his bid to do that. And I think for them, like, I don't know, but like, I believe that Aaron Rodgers did not want to face San Francisco.
No,
I think he definitely has a pulse on his team. So like, this presents a problem for Green Bay. More so than I think any other or a lot of other teams would, especially because there's a history there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not to say the Rams wouldn't present just as much of a problem for Green Bay.
Right. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't see the 49ers being in this group, but as things have played out, this is the 4 best teams in the NFC.
Damn right.
And I truly believe we got the 4 best teams in the AFC. So
everybody's getting what they want. With these
everybody deserves to be here. And I'm so excited because any of these teams could win the whole thing. Yeah. And we get to watch it unfold.
We do. And I guess that leads us into the last matchup before we get into these locks, man.
How
Bucks,
you feeling about the Rams, my dude?
Oh, I've been mentioning, alluding to it all episode, man. But your boy's nervous, and it's because the question marks we have on the offensive line.
The line's got to scare you. You know what I mean? You win by the sword, you die by the sword. Like, y'all won with some teams with Kansas City with their offensive
line having issues. So now the shoe's on the other foot. Can we stave off what that suggests that we can do?
Well, Jensen's gonna be there. You know what I mean? Like,
I think he'll play.
He's kicked wood, like he's been chopping wood with his broken leg all week in preparation for this. He's built up a good callus around it. He's fine.
The problem is Wirfs, man. He's been so solid. Like, Wirfs is an eraser. Like, he'll erase your best pass rusher.
The best thing you can hear about offensive line is never hear his name. And when you watch games, you never hear that dude's name because he's doing his job. He's keeping Brady upright and the defensive line away from him.
I think the key to the game, though, is like with the defense finally playing like they should have been playing all season, having everybody healthy. I think that's going to be the key. Like, can we get Matt Stafford off his spot? Everybody wants to get Brady off their spot. Can we make Matt Stafford do some things that he is maybe not used to doing at this point because the Arizona game was so easy. I think it's important for Todd Bowles to do or build on what Arizona did in stopping Cooper Kupp. You know what I'm saying? Like
that was masterful.
It was, but he has to have a contingency plan because they have other receivers. Odell Beckham finally getting more ingrained into the offense. Van Jefferson still making sneaky plays down the field and being a very capable receiver. You know what I'm saying? So like he has to do that, but also build on that. And that's what these matchups are for, Drew. Yeah. Like everybody, you have to play 100% in the defense. If the defense can limit the offense of LA, I think the defense is going to present problems for Tampa Bay. Look for a lot of short passes. Tampa Bay has to get the run game going. Yeah. But since we more know, especially with the offensive line issues, that the Rams are going to present problems for the Tampa Bay offense, it's of the utmost importance for the Tampa Bay defense to do the same thing to the offense. And if they can't, it's going to be problems. I don't care if Tampa's at home, even though I do think Tampa being at home, considering the team that they have been this year, does matter. It does matter. Yes.
Vaughn, Gio, and Bell versus Michelle and Akers. I'm here for it. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Hopefully Fournette plays, man. And I need Mike to keep giving me what Mike's giving me right now. I need Mike Evans to be that dude again.
Everywhere.
Again. Yes. I need him to be that dude. And I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous, man, because the Bucs had to. I mentioned this on Twitter. The Bucs last year in their quest for a Super Bowl title had to slay some dragons. They did it with the Saints. Okay. You know what I'm saying? They have to do it the same. This Rams team has beaten them the last 2 years, somewhat handily. Some would say. So you know what I'm saying? So they need to get over the hump. If they can do that, then Tampa can win the Super Bowl. If they can't, then they go home. And that's the story. They're gonna have to slay some dragons. Can they get it done? Go Bucs.
Go Bucs. All right. Well, let's get into our locks before we get out of here. Shawn, I hate to tell you had a rough week.
Rough as shit.
NFC let you down.
When I look back at my locks, man, I think it was more hope.
Okay.
than what I was actually thinking. I was trying to will it into existence, but it didn't work.
All right. I went with the clean sweep in the AFC.
Damn, right. So this might not be. I need to come up. I need to win the rest of the game.
Things happening, I went 3-0 last week. You went 1-2. Cowboys and Cards did you dirty. But we're only a game apart. I'm 21-16. You're 20-17. So this could be a game changer. And I had trouble this week with my picks. I'm not gonna lie to you. I went back and forth. I second guessed myself.
Right.
But the one that I feel good about, I feel the best about, I do think the Packers beat the 49ers.
Ooh,
I think Aaron Rodgers wills that to happen.
Okay. Do you think? So when I ask you this, I'm picking the AFC, but I will ask you this: do you think any referee shenanigans happens in this game? Just how you feeling?
For the sake of the league, I hope not.
Me too.
Like they can't take another game, man. Like the Bengals Raiders officiant crew can't even.
They can't get another game. The rest so of the bad.
Game. Yeah,
hell no.
So for the league's sake and these referees, because deep down, I truly like the referees that they have. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there can be sweeping changes for the better, like in anything.
Right.
But for the sake of their reputation, enough's enough, man. No errant whistles. I mean, to be honest with the Cowboys, that wasn't on the ref. You know what I mean? I know it's controversy, but rules are the rules, and he did his best to try to touch that football to give him a chance.
Yeah, he did. I was wondering about that, like, and hopefully that doesn't influence the winner of the game. That's all I want.
I just don't want the outcome to be changed. If you blow a call here and there, so what? But please just don't affect the outcome of the game.
So
what's your first game you going with?
First game that I am going with, I think I feel like I'm taking the easiest choice that I can make. Maybe it's a big statement to some. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills AFC Championship contender over the Kansas City Chiefs on the road. I think Josh Allen, and maybe I picked the same thing last year. I can't even remember. But this year, I think they get over the hump. I think they get over the hump. Like, I just feel it. Like, I think Josh Allen and Buffalo Bills are desperate enough to do anything to win.
Be on the lookout. The X factor that keeps it for Kansas City.
Right.
McKinnon.
Jerick McKinnon.
142 all-purpose yards and a touchdown last week.
Yeah. And they needed that
in this game.
They needed that.
Even if Hilaire comes back.
I think
still get some rotations.
I think Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's stock is going down. That's what I think. As far as in this offense,
you got to stay on the field to keep your stock up. So but McKinnon did spectacular.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sure you're ready for this one. Bucks Rams.
I can understand it.
No, but I've got when the teams are this balanced.
Yeah.
And this on paper the same. You look at the quarterback, and I trust Brady over Stafford.
Okay.
I'm going Brady and Rodgers NFC Championship. Run it back.
Man, yeah, that would be great to see. I was actually I'm glad you picked the NFC this week because I
this means you got them again next week.
it does. But no, I couldn't pick. I couldn't pick, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't. This game, I don't know. I mean, like, I know what I'm nervous about. So confidence level going into this game, 5 or 6.
That's fine.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But getting into the last game so we can get out of here, man. Tennessee, Cincinnati.
Who you got?
I got the Titans losing at home to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Swerve on me there.
Yeah, got the Titans losing at home. Cincinnati Bengals. I'm with the Bengals. I'm with the Bengals. I think that they can do it. I think they pull it off. Young team and all. I would
love to see it. I would love to see it. And I'm sitting in enemy territory right now.
Yeah. Watch out for them for the spears, the guns, the shots, the knives.
Hey, I'm staying away from downtown anyway, so we're good.
Yeah, man, that's what I got.
All right, well, I can't wait, man, because like you said, we got 4 great matchups. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Shawn, where can they find you?
At the kid Suds, at the kid _Suds on Twitter, at nickel_Dom FB on the Twitter as well, and at the illustrious nickel_Dom football on IG.
Putting up the content this week, man.
Yeah. Drew, what about you, man?
Follow me on Instagram at Laugh with Harrison, DrewHarrisonComedy.com. Got some more dates up there. Come see a show. Pick up your nickel and dime sticker if you hadn't already. Hit us up next time if you want to be one of our correspondents, one of our fans and friends of the show.
I'd love to have you.
We'll see you next week. Thank you.